Good morning, everyone. Here we are. It is, of course, the Fruit Nut News on, of course, today, which is, of course, the 23rd, ladies and gentlemen, the 23rd of April 2026. So, good morning, everyone. It is, of course, Thursday, kind of that in-between period before shit hits the fan. And more and more information comes out into the general public, so to speak. But there is plenty to chew on if you are not chewing, if you are not chewing at the moment. So yes, a very interesting time. Quick hello to everybody. Shepherd's in, Christina's in, Mary's in. That is, of course, Mary Magdalene, as you well know. Jim Tully's in from, of course, China. The New Life is in. Susan from Cardiffshire. Strongwell Age is in. Anne's in. Jan H is in. Glenn Pearson's in from Scarboroughshire. Sue Allen's in. We've got the whole of the island massive in tonight as well, today. And we've also got the gorgeous Ava in. So good morning, everybody. Hope you're all okay and well. So very, very interesting. Let me just send a friend. Let me just send a friend. A friend. Let me just send that to Jason. So, what I wanted to talk to you about, most of all, we've had this big thing with David Wilcox, okay, and I posted a very interesting. This is like a map of the Great Awakening. Okay, now, some people are sort of like, is it a military operation? Asking a lot of questions, okay. So, of course, now it's starting to sort of, throw itself forward. Now, here we have a couple of days ago, apparently, David Wilcox killed himself. Not only that, but the author of his book that he published, not quite sure when, but he apparently is dead as well. Apparently, so these are two people basically talking about ascension. They're talking about galactical people. They're talking about UFOs. They've got a very big insight into all kinds of stuff. And these two characters that, first of all, one of them wrote a book, and secondly, the one was narrating the book and telling everybody about what it was all about. So these two characters have died suddenly, okay, which is quite interesting. Now, I put up a very interesting little a map of the Great Awakening and what was happening. And lo and behold, in blue, I've done it in blue so that you can see it. Nothing to do with the fact that I'm a Palladian or anything like that. But anyway, I put it up in blue. We've got David. We've got David Wilcox, who is linked, okay, to an optimal timeline reality, okay? And then, of course, if you have a look at that, connection, okay, there's also portal systems, free energy, okay, the Galactic Federation is mentioned there as well. There's all kinds of things that you can, you can also link in. You can link in. Excuse me, that was quite funny, that wasn't it? My glasses fell off onto my nose. So that you can link into that as well. So that is actually, well, I find it interesting. You might think it's boring, but anyway. So that is a map of the Great Awakening. Now, there is a map, a bigger map available that basically tells you everything that's going on, and you just need to study it to work out. But it's interesting that David Wilcox was mentioned in this, and we're talking about an optional timeline connects David, then of course Free Energy, Galactic Federation, Super Federation is mentioned as well. So, you know, there we go. Now, isn't it also interesting, and you may find this interesting or not, but I do, there is a massive inquiry going on at the moment in regards to Mandelson and Starmer. Okay, and from the people that have been involved in this so far, it appears that these people are very, should we say, shady with the truth. They are being very, very careful about what they are saying in regards to Keir Starmer, in regards to the process, in regards to the vetting, in regards to all kinds of other things. So this is for me personally, this is a bit unprecedented. Now, I have been saying to you over the course of the last few years that I believe a lot of these inquiries are actually recorded tribunals, that people don't really understand what they're actually in front of the panel for. And I believe that the evidence that they give and the things that they say will be used during some form of a Nuremberg situation back in the day. Now, remember that Nuremberg 1 was, of course, it did implicate quite a few people. However, it didn't get to the root cause of the people that created the problems in the first place. Now, those people escaped, and they went to all kinds of different places, including America and Britain and other places around the world. Some of them went to Antarctica, and very interestingly enough, it was not a very wide-ranging Nuremberg, so to speak. Now, there were people that did get arrested, etc., but it was fairly a bit of a whitewash. It was a bit of a whitewash, really. Now, this time, of course, we have a second bite of the cherry, not only to basically find out who these people are, what they stand for, and how they operate themselves within the humanitarian spectrum, etc., But of course, we need to get to the bottom of this, because, of course, it's very important for humanity as we move forward. The truth, ladies and gentlemen, has to come out. Whether you like it or not, it has to come out. And, of course, the old adage, which means the truth will set you free, is literally meaning the truth will set you free. Literally. Your soul, your mind, your body, everything is going to be set free by the truth. Some of it's going to be uncomfortable. Some of it you're not going to like. Some of it you're going to find quite hard to adapt to the changes. Unfortunately, it will be very quick and very fast, and there won't be a lot of room for error, so to speak. Okay, so these investigations that are going on at the moment don't seem to be like investigations that I've ever seen before. Seems to be a very large military presence, even though they are, should we say, covered in, should we say, normal clothing. Very interesting. Very interesting. So we will, of course, wait and see. Now, from what I can gather, the people that are being questioned are protecting or are trying to protect not only their own position, but they are also trying to protect probably what they were told to do, and also what actually happened in regards to the appointment of Mandelson. Now, remember that Mandelson is the spider that is actually in the web. Now, if you can imagine Mandelson in the middle, and then you can imagine around that, okay, around that, you imagine all of the other people. Epstein, Maxwell, Starmer, Lammy, Rachel Reeves, Friends of Israel, Israel itself, Mossad, CIA, Five Eyes, Canada, Australia. Fucking the list it's a massive, massive list, okay? And of course, what they are trying to do, they are trying to protect their network as best they can. Unfortunately, there is that much evidence has been gathered on the network in question that unfortunately it cannot be now denied. There was a saying a few years ago called "We are draining the swamp." The swamp is not particularly a swamp. It is more like a fucking web. And draining the swamp is really interesting when it comes to the dams. Okay. Now, remember that the Hoover Dam has covered up certain civilizational artifacts and things. Same with the Three Gorges Dam as well. And same with other dams around the world that have covered up history. Remember that, of course, the big... what do they call it? That big place in America, the canyon, the Grand Canyon. Remember that the Grand Canyon, there are parts of the Grand Canyon that you are not allowed to go, and you are basically warned about that in not so uncertain terms. So the question is, what is in the Grand Canyon? The Grand Canyon probably is a lot bigger than what we think. So it will be an interesting one. Now, remember that there are rumors that the Grand Canyon does have Egyptian artifacts and also Egyptian mythology. Okay. Which kind of then leads you to the conclusion that Egypt wasn't necessarily confined to Egypt. Okay, so there could be a possibility that we've got all kinds of other artifacts available to us. The other interesting thing that we should note as well, it has been noted by a guy called Eric Burleson, who confirmed that Trump is in possession of a massive UFO, which is basically too big to move. Now, apparently, from what I can gather, this UFO has been covered up by a very large building to basically hide the fact that this UFO is there, which of course then leads us to all kinds of other questions. We are not alone, etc., 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 which basically shits a lot of people up completely. Unfortunately, people might like myself find it a very fascinating subject, because we haven't had the brainwashing that the majority of people have had on planet Earth. No idea why that is. No idea why I happen to be different to everybody else. But unfortunately, that's the way that it is. Now, remember that we've got two wars that are being fronted and that are going to lead to the same result. Okay? And the same result, of course, is the internet shutdown. Okay? Now, we've got on the one hand, we appear to have a group of people called the New World Order, or commonly known as the arseholes, and they are basically trying to create a controlled position in finance, money, depopulation, etc., 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 commonly known as the deep state, or should we say, once again, the deep arseholes. Then, of course, we've got another group of people formed quite newly really on the timeline of things, but maybe not. And of course, they want to introduce a different idea that is going to set people free and basically tackle the corruption, the trafficking, the paedophilia, offshore accounts, etc., etc., using, of course, high-tech technology. Now, remember that the current system at the moment, basically allows the deep state to, of course, rob and basically keep humanity in a state of not only fear but also the lack of money and prosperity. And they do that because, of course, it's a gangster's paradise when it comes to banking and finance. Now, very recently, a new AI software tool was projected to be introduced into the banking system. Unfortunately, the banks and the powers that be went absolutely fucking crazy and didn't want this new AI software to be implemented. And guess why? Because this new software can track every single transaction on the planet, and it can it can track it from its destination all the way back to where it came from originally, through various shell companies, through various offshore accounts, through various etc. This software will basically shut down the banking system, and of course not only the banking system, but it will also shut down the corruption, money laundering, trafficking, etc., etc., overnight, within a split second. And this is why the banking system is fighting desperately not to allow this new quantum financial system to be implemented. Now, here's the kicker. Both of the systems rely on one thing. They rely on the internet being turned off. Now, that is a very big situation to find yourself in, whether you are in the bad gang or the good gang, because there isn't any guarantee of what's going to happen. Fortunately, from our perspective, we seem to be having exterior help, which is making the job a lot easier. And of course, the switching off of the old-fashioned internet or communications system is going to create a quantum system that is going to be able to track all of this money laundering and all of this shit. Now, remember, of course, that when that system is implemented, okay, there won't be any desire for the normal man or woman to basically try to try and commit fraudulent crime from the point of view of money. And the reason that will be is that because there will be a high basic income and people will have no need to be able, no need to get involved in the money situation from the point of drugs, laundering, trafficking, etc., etc. At the moment, you've got a very small group of people that are profiting hugely from all of these activities. And those activities produce a huge amount of money that is being laundered through the old-fashioned system. And what that means is that the corporation-suited criminals can basically use the system to work alongside the criminals in order to create a vast amount of money. That, of course, will stop. And rather than a few select people around the world that will be gaining the money, the vast majority will become rich. How do I know that? I don't know. I just do. You can believe it or not. It's entirely up to you. I don't really care. But the internet will, at some stage, get switched off. So, prepare yourself for that one. Now, we come now to a lady called Julia Vivaro. Sounds like a van, but it's actually not. She is a very attractive lady. She happens to be a top-level counter-terrorism officer working within the Trump organization. Apparently, she has been using sugar daddies to basically fund her lifestyle. Now, I'm not quite sure how this works. Well, I am. But I'm wondering if Trump is only paying the minimum wage in regards to said activities, and Julia is having to seek sugar daddies, which is a bit like a food bank, but a little bit different, to basically fund her lifestyle. I mean, a girl has to have nails. She has to have lovely underwear. She has to have, of course, the things that most people don't even fucking think about because they haven't got time to. And, you know, and so it appears that Donald is going to have to put up the minimum wage that he's paying these people, or we're going to find more and more counter-terrorism operatives basically seeking sugar daddies and sugar mummies. Very interesting. Now, Iran has stated that the United States must end the blockade, Mark, must end the blockade in, of course, the Strait of Hormuz before we start talking to you. That's an interesting statement, isn't it, on its own? Yes, we'll start moving all of our oil, all of our drugs, all of our weapons and all of our nuclear material, and then we'll do some talking once we've got it moved. Not to mention, of course, the gold. Dear. Oh, and not to mention, of course, the servers. Remember, of course, Iran has a very interesting server network that, of course, has basically recorded everything that has been happening in Iran since around about 1979. So that, of course, is the time that the Shah of Persia was overthrown for the communist British UK Mossad Israeli regime. So it will be interesting to see what happens in regards to that. Now, Pam Bondi, okay, Pam Bondi, of course, didn't turn up for her deposition chat a couple of days ago. Now, this is in response to the Epstein files not being released, and they still haven't been released, as well as the JFK files, as well as the 9/11 files, as well as the files on Diana, etc., etc. There's so much fucking shit that's got to come out. It's just untrue. Anyway, so Pam didn't turn up. So that leads us in a bit of a quandary. So we'll wait and see. There's also talk that Kash Patel is on the brink of knocking himself out with a few pints of Guinness, apparently sent to him by Kira from Ireland. Now, we can't come, we're going to get Kira on later to see if this is actually true. But apparently Guinness is being imported into Kash Patel's American way of life. And of course, he's not used to pure Irish Guinness. So it could be that someone needs to put their hand up and say, yes, we are supplying Guinness. Very interesting. Now, not only that, of course, the former CIA director, John Brennan, who has apparently been sort of implicated in various different ideas, so to speak, as basically the DOJ have basically removed all of these subpoenas that have been put upon John Brennan, which happens to be an interesting move. Now, in light of course, the Keir Starmer files, etc., etc., we have Prime Minister's question time has been turned off next week. Starmer has cancelled Prime Minister's question times. Also remember that the King has to sign off on this as well. So the King has signed off on this as well. So next week is a very important week because the rent boys of Ukraine, who set fire to the back doors of Keir Starmer in more ways than one, are basically due in the glory hole of the Old Bailey. And they are going to have a jury trial. No wonder Mr. Lammy was basically trying to get jury things banned, because of course this is going to get very interesting. So not only have we got the rent boys up in the Old Bailey next week, right? Which I would assume is going to mean that we've got the injunction in regard to the media being removed, because, of course, independent media is going to go there and fucking do it anyway. So that, I'm presuming that's going to be removed. So this is going to cascade out as well. But not only that, we've got the king. Now, the king is supposedly going to America to basically fall upon his sword. And this, of course, is because the king, okay, now has no other choice but to try and go to America to basically, should we say, influence Donald Trump and try and make things better. Just 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Are you moving it back? Yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to get myself off. Apparently, the lads have come to move move the caravan that I used to be in. Now, of course, you know that I've moved to the log cabin with the Wheel of Fortune, which is only next door. So I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to move my van so it's out of the way. I will catch up with you all again later on this evening for another exciting episode of the Fruit and Nut News. Remember, this is the only news channel that reports on all sides of the news and all different stories, angles, and, of course, directions. See you all soon. Take care. Love you loads. Bye-bye.